95, baby.
August 29, 2005.
Category 5.
Dodie Smith Simmons and her husband John rode out Katrina in their second-floor apartment at the American Can Company in Mid-City. Her elderly parents, two sisters, and brother-in-law, instead of evacuating out of town, stayed at the Can Company too. And Smith Simmons says about 400 others, residents and their families, had the same idea.
This building's not going to blow down. Camille, Betsy didn't do anything to it, so I felt I was safe.
And they were safe during the storm. It was hours after the storm had passed when everything changed.
There was water cascading down Orleans, past the Can, went over the bayou, continued down, and they got higher and higher and higher.
The neighborhood was under at least 5 feet of water.
And we thought once the pump started working,
Yeah,
the water going to go down.
but it didn't go down. It just kept rising.
The Can Company had lost electricity. It was dark, getting hotter, and the only way up or down the 5-story building was the stairwell. The elevators obviously were not working. It would be 5 days before Simmons's family and most others could get out. What happened here during that time is the storyline for a movie that Columbia Pictures has in development, according to IMDb, the Internet Movie Database. And the movie, called The American Can, to be released next year, centers around a resident many say kept them safe and got them rescued.
We weren't trying to save anybody in the beginning because we thought the water was going to get pumped out.
But John Keller, a 6'7" former Marine, would soon become the go-to guy.
It had been mass chaos, I think, had not John stepped in and played the role that he did.
Keller says people who could get out did, but more than 200 others waited for help.
When they started going door to door, when I was surprised when they came to me and said, "Man, we got a lot of old people in here." I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "It's like an elderly convention." I'm like, we knocking on the doors and people roll into the doors in their wheelchairs.
Many of the residents had invited their elderly family members to take shelter at the Can.
The elderly, I could see where it would be like deep panic would set in when the water wasn't going down, they can't swim, no elevator.
Each morning, Keller says he and his cousin Chris Roberts and others would gather people on the rooftop. 244 people were still inside. Many in wheelchairs had to be carried up.
You know, there was tons of rumors going on. So we figured the best place to be was at the Can. So we didn't leave to go somewhere else. We stayed here as long as we could.
They waited and watched as helicopters circled the area, rescuing patients from nearby Lindy Boggs Medical Center.
Until he said, get somebody white or look like they're white and bring them up there. And when that happened, the water in the MRE rained down.
Keller says he hot-wired a boat to check out the damage.
I'm almost at 2 Lane and Broad. They got about 6-7 feet of water on Broad, okay?
Later, he drove to a small sliver of land along Bayou St. John where he saw others getting rescued.
I got it.
I went to the guy, I said, "Hey man, what are your orders?" He said, "My orders are to rescue the hospitals and the hotels." I said, "Well, what about the residents of the city?" He said, "We didn't get the order to rescue the residents." I said, "I have a bunch of elderly in the building." I said, and they have one more day, some of them. I said, "They're not gonna make it to another 24 hours. I said, "I need to get them out of here." I said, "You're not from around here. You don't know who's from the hospitals or the hotels." I said, "If I get these people here, will you get them out?" He said, "I didn't hear that, but if you get them here, I'll get them out."
Keller was able to bring some residents to the bayou, but the rest, he says about 70, would have to keep waiting on the roof.
I think we had time to be scared, you know, or be nervous. I mean, we was just reacting to what was kind of going on.
By day 5, the military had hoisted Smith Simmons and others out of Mid-City. Keller and Roberts documented those days with pictures and videotape, and sometime after Katrina, Keller's story got out. Filmmakers approached him about making a movie.
It's not a disaster movie. It's about what the human spirit embodies during a crisis, what they can band together and do.
Keller says he's even met with actor Will Smith about playing himself in the film.
And then he asked me at the end, he goes, well, if I'm gonna play you in this movie, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? And I looked at him, I said, well, if you're gonna play me in the movie, you need to get in the gym and get tight. And then he said, I thought we were gonna go for the natural look, and he touched my gut.
5.5 years later, Dodie Smith-Simmons has grown closer to John Keller, and each day says she's thankful.
And here's a young man who stood up and did something for the people in his building. He didn't have to, but he did. That's why he was always be my hero.